Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is Josh. Where's the camera? It's over here. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit informal. I am stuck inside. It's a snow day, icy, snowy, sleety day here in southern New York, and so I am forced to slow down finally, and I can catch up on some of the cinema that I have ingested. That's not correct. Kind of gross, but I can talk about some movies, and I decided to just cover two movies in this video because it's they're going to get away from me, and these two movies make an interesting comparison. And also, I'm like this with a handheld phone because I've gotten so accustomed to just intimate one take reviews in my car that when I sat down and I put the phone into the tripod and put on the light and like sat down to formally, I couldn't do it. I just kept tripping up. I cannot do it. I guess that's a good problem to have, is that I can't be phony, right? I'm so real with you. We have something, you and me. So here I am, just holding my phone, but I also taking advantage of being indoors and having IMDb open right over here. So you'll see my eyes dart over here. So the movies that I want to compare today are Companion. I'm a little bit late to the party on Companion, and Love Me. Now, what these movies have in common is that they are both short genre movies by first-time feature directors that are kind of being, how do I say it nicely, like, jettisoned into the beginning of the year. But they also both have sci-fi overtones and deal with matters of identity and humanity and what makes someone a human or not. But I would say that's where the comparison really stops, because one of these movies is an excellent, fun thrill ride, and the other one is the first truly bad movie of the year. And I feel a little bad saying that about new filmmakers, but we'll get to that. First, I want to talk about Companion. Companion is from Drew Hancock. Is that the name? I cannot remember. Yeah, Drew Hancock. I can't remember a piece of information once another piece of information takes its place. It's getting dire, folks. Drew Hancock is a TV guy, worked on a lot of writing and directing on TV shows, and now this is his feature debut. And he's also working with producer Zach Kreger, who made Barbarian a few years ago, the great indie horror movie. And they're making a lot of that in the marketing, because Barbarian was a hit, and from the people who brought you Barbarian. But it's not really, it's great if it got butts in the seats to see this cool movie, but this is not really that kind of movie. It's not a horror movie. It's a thriller. There's some blood and some action and some revelations, but this is mostly a sci-fi tinged comedy thriller. And you're best not knowing really anything. So I'm going to keep it light talking about Companion. But essentially, Jack Quaid is a kind of a guy, kind of a pathetic, typical American dude guy. And he has his little subservient girlfriend, played by Sophie Thatcher, who we remember from Heretic last year. And they show up at a lake house that turns out to be the mansion of a Russian gangster. And then all kinds of shenanigans ensue, and the nature of relationships and even the nature of individuals come into question. And that's all I'm going to say, because, again, I'm late to this party. You probably know what's going on in this movie by now, but I don't want to be the one to spoil it. I'll just say that Companion is fresh, and it's fun, and it's clever, and we have seen material like this before, but I feel like this is a fresh enough take that I really had a good time. It does a good job of world building, of answering just enough questions, but not getting bogged down in lore and technobabble or anything like that. So it's not perfect. It's not the best movie of the year so far, but it's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed what's it called? Companion. Jeez. That's it. Without talking spoilers, there's not much more that I can say, except that high recommendation on Companion. Then compare and contrast with Love Me, which is a post-apocalyptic kind of romance story, science fiction romance story, sort of. It's also a rumination on the nature of humanity, but and I'm down for that. I like stuff like that, but I don't like this one. This is a movie with a weird enough premise that I wanted to like it. I wanted it to work. So this is two filmmakers with the same last name, so I assume they're brothers or something like that. Andrew and Sam Zucchero. I don't know how to say their name. And this movie stars Kristen Stewart and Steven Yeun, two actors that will get people into a theater to see a movie. Essentially, this movie is about a post-apocalyptic world where a smart device, in this case a buoy, a smart buoy that has like a chip in it and a computerized component, and a satellite that has been launched by NASA for such an occasion as post-apocalyptic nothingness, to send out signals to anyone who might approach the planet, but also it has a hard drive inside of it that collects, basically, they don't call it YouTube, but all of YouTube. It's like all of the video memories of humanity. But when we see them played back, it's literally the YouTube interface without the word YouTube. And that's all it is. There's no other stuff. There's no great classics. There's no great literature. There's no great music. It is YouTube. That's what gets launched into space. And that is the setup, as a buoy played by Kristen Stewart and a satellite played by Steven Yeun fall in love and decide to become human. But all they have to go on is YouTube, essentially. And that sounds satirical, and there are funny-ish things in this movie, but I think more so, this movie really wants to be profound. And that's where it fails drastically. This movie starts promising. The live action material in this movie is beautiful. It's really well done. And the way they give life, the puppeteering of the buoy, and the way the post-apocalyptic landscape looks, and the way they play with sunlight, and the effects are quite good. But then I'm good with weird movies. And I bet what happened here was, here we have a pair of directors with a weird premise that's got profound ramifications, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. I bet the studio, in this case, I believe it was Bleecker Street, saw a potential for another Everything Everywhere. The Oscar-winning A24 comedy weird movie that is a rumination on the nature of time and existence and experience. And so I'm pretty sure they thought this was another one of those. And it's not. This is an 80-minute movie, and fully 30 of those minutes are just intentionally crudely animated internet avatars of these two people who are basing themselves on influencers from YouTube, and I guess Instagram is in there as well. Just these rudimentary avatar, like Bitmojis, like going through repetitive nonsense, inane things over and over and over again, the same behavior, until just by force of will over billions of years, they essentially make themselves turn into real people. But the opening of this movie is so promising, and then the middle section, when it's just these stupid avatars, is just it's so jarring. It goes from being so promising to so unbearable that by the time you get to the end where the actors are back and it looks nice again, and they're going through all this relationship drama, you do not care. Because their idea of being human is so wrong, because it's based on social media. But the movie's not really commenting on that. It really wants you to care about their love story, but how could you? It's baffling. This movie is a real misfire, and it's a shame, because it's a weirdo movie, and I like weirdo movies, and I want it to succeed. So I hope these guys try again, and I hope that it goes better next time. That's all I'm going to say. Love Me is the first bad movie of the year, but I'm not reveling in it. I'm not thrilled about it. It just is what it is. Thank you for listening. Fun with Shorts is back. New episode coming. New episode is already up. New one coming next week. And all the other fun stuff over on patreon.com. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.